Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and this video is a release or a review of a new series that I will be looking to follow. It's called Red Spirit or Sprite. It is the replacement for Bleach, so I figured I'd give it a go. It's 4 chapters in and it seems to be doing pretty well in terms of its storytelling, and people are doing okay with it. How long it's going to last, I don't know. As you can imagine, the cutthroat world of manga nowadays is fickle to the point where it can change its mind very easily. What I like about this series, it is different. I like its technology. It is a different kind of world, and it's a bit darker, and I'll explain as I go along with my review. So I'll be reviewing the first few chapters, so first 4, and then we'll go from there on a weekly basis. But without further ado, let's get into the review. So, the first chapter, with many one-shots or regional introduction chapters, is a lot longer, so there's a lot more content involved in this. Now, in regards to the chapter itself, there's a lot of things that happen, so it's a lot grayer and grimmer than a lot of previous mangas that we've been used to, and it kind of shows a different direction that maybe Shonen Jump is going with nowadays, with the introduction of the Promised Neverland, and with the introduction of this. So it's seen in Edenia Kingdom, in a orphanage where a few young boys and girls are growing up. The main character is Tatsu Frampt, who always wanted to be a captain of some kind and even steals an old uniform. They get told of the world is different from what we know, so the idea is on the Industrial Revolution, when things start changing from coal and we start looking at electricity and other sources of energy. Humans in this world basically found thunder cores, which generate electricity. As the story progresses, the use of the thunder cores has changed, and talk about the idea that they can now use it for boats and transport airships. There's a little scene in there that really talks about the idea of an airship, and they call it Sprite, and Sprite, and the guy that's looking after him called Durant does that. It turns out there's a new kid that's there called Mono, and he's effectively kind of shy, quiet, antisocial, and if he's like a strong current, to explain. So the truth of the matter is, basically these kids are being taken away from society because they were test subjects and they believe they have a disease that causes iron to be on their palms. It turns out this was a test by the government of Edenia, and they were looking to find ways to have renewable sources of energy, and they put thunder cores in kids. That's why they have iron on their bodies, so basically effectively using them as rechargeable batteries. So these kids have been taken, they've escaped, and the government come back. So a character called Colonel Shepard initially comes and confiscates a lot of the kids. So the only one that gets away is the main character, and he's saved by Durant. He's told that he has a special core in his body, a high-speed current generating core called Blood, and he gives his life by charging his core so he can go on. This is one of those chapters that basically a lot happens, even to the point we have an initial time skip. 6 years has gone on from this. He returns. He has now heightened his ability using blood and speed up all his reflexes. So Tatsu Frampt is basically back, and he's here to fight for freedom and free all thunder cores and find his friend. At the end of the chapter, he finds out that one of his friends, Mono, that was one of the special ones, I guess, is being shown off in a parade through the use of his energy to power a tank, and it ends with them fighting for freedom. He commandeers an airship that is Red Spirit, name of the title basically, and effectively sets his course to find his friend and frees a few thunder core humans on the way. But yeah, that's chapter number 1. Bit of a long one, but it's an introduction chapter, it's always the case. On to chapter number 2. A lot shorter chapter, a lot less content compared to chapter 1, but an interesting one indeed. So it seems that the Edenia Kingdom, the government that runs Edenia Kingdom, is very tyrannical in the sense that they have broadcasts that everyone must watch. They've got literally, army folk all over the country, or the area, that prefecture, I guess, that effectively force you to watch it. You cannot say anything negative about them. It literally is a case of old uniform, you've got to be in line, you've got to do exactly what they say type of thing. there's like a national, or whatever area the Edenia Kingdom really covers, kind of a conference where the Supreme Leader, Mr. Atlas, is there, and he's doing this whole kind of speech about expanding and taking over places and war and everything else. And with a flash, here comes Red Lightning himself, the main character Tatsu. So there's a cannon that's on the ship that they use to shoot him down, but because he can use his thunder core, he effectively becomes a lightning, and he can move so fast because of it. And now while all this is happening, he gets to the actual guys trying to save Mono, gets him out, but now it gets to a point where how do they escape? They've got in, how do they get out? And that sets up chapter number 3. Chapter number 3, Magonia. Magonia is a place kind of in their world that's full of mystery and adventure, and it's a place that's free. It's a floating island in the storybooks, and it's a place where if you can get to it, you can live freely and do what you want. So for people that are discriminated or used as slaves in their world, Magonia seems like their ideal, right? Now then we get back to the normal kind of storyline, because it's the childhood really where they look at these books, but we see that effectively what's happened is everyone but Tatsu's got back onto the ship and decided to go, and basically Tatsu is for the most part a distraction. He's like super fast and doing super damage, and he's found a way so they could broadcast this event to everyone without them basically getting into the control tower. And essentially it's a declaration of war. So it's a declaration of war to say that those who oppose the normal nation can join him, especially the Thunder Core humans. If they ever need us, Magonia will be there. So that's a key point, because that isn't just a message to the people watching generally, it's a message to all his friends that have been captured and used as slaves all this time, that he will come to find them and he will set them free. And it's a sad little scene, because the first time he saw them, they were all little kids. It's been 6 years that they've been used as experiments, used as batteries, exploited for other people's gains, and this is the first time they've seen him in a very long time, and they're all tied up and they're basically getting their lives drained from them on a daily basis till they basically die, whenever they might die. So it's a bit of a sad thing, but it's an interesting that he's declared that war. Now, an interesting point to bear in mind with this chapter as well, because they ask Tatsu the question when he escapes, the same way he came, through lightning and current, using the current, is why didn't you defeat the leaders? And he goes, I thought I was strong enough to defeat them, but the general, the main leader, plus his people had me frozen. So the main bad guy, Atlas, is effectively so strong that even the main character at this moment in time is scared of him or petrified. Now this is a good thing, because it gives him a wall or a kind of a target or something to kind of aspire to go beyond to get stronger. So the challenge of being able to do something like that is important. So bearing in mind he's obviously special himself with his blood core, naturally Atlas is special through all these experiments and things he may have done on himself. And that's how we end chapter number 3. Chapter number 4. Chapter number 4 again is a bit more of a simple chapter, and what I like about the series so far is generally easy to follow. It is still in the world building stage, so there's a lot of things that have yet to be fully developed, hashed out, kind of given more detail to. So we'll probably find for the first 10-15 chapters we're going to get that. But I like that because we get to find out more about the world, and we find more about the world in this chapter as well. So we find out that this big event was pretty much flashed out, no one's talking about it, and only really the government know about it. No one else can talk about it. So we see a few people that are kind of talking about it and like, no, we can't talk about it, and then they get captured by the Red Spirit team, mainly for food, but they also run into a little bit of a trouble. We get to find out what Excalibur is. Excalibur is basically the name of a warship that basically takes down warships. It's probably the best and the strongest out there, and now it's hot on the Red Spirit's trail. But basically the government have been talking about it, they've already made plans to capture them, bearing in mind it's only been a chapter since they've escaped, and this is really the aftermath chapter, that they're already hot on their tails. How will they escape from Excalibur? We don't know. With them having such a powerful force behind them, it's got to be something interesting for them to get away. One technology that they have shown over the last couple of chapters that I really like is there's a few actually. There's a smoke cloud that they use. there's these multi-arms that they can use to basically capture and pick up things, and this cannon and a cannon shell that they can use to teleport Tatsu through his lightning and current hitting the earthing him effectively, and basically retaking it back on the ship. I think using that type of technology, using that ability is awesome, and I really like the direction this story is going. How long it lasts I don't know, because it all depends on how popular it is, as well as what these editors and the leaders of Shonen Jump think, because a lot of these series are ending very quickly. They're getting forced to finish, they're getting rushed. I hope this isn't one of those that doesn't get its time to really flush out its story and really expand upon what the idea is about Red Spirit. We'll have to wait and see more. This is all my thoughts on the first 4 chapters of Red Spirit, and hopefully as they come out in the near future I'll do weekly reviews. Until then, I'll see you next time. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. Peace.